Welcome to T-Boys TV. We're obviously here for the Hatter Show, obviously episode 104. Obviously in today's, we're just going to discuss that Sunderland comeback. You know, we expected a reaction and we certainly got that. And then, you know, we'll briefly talk about obviously Coventry, you know, obviously in the final, but we won't go too much into it. We'll save that for next Friday. Because obviously it makes more sense, doesn't it? So yeah, like always, I'm joined with Dad. How are we, Dad?
Yeah, all good, mate. You?
Looking very similar with a T-Boys TV angle today. That's what I've noticed. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's one of them. Let's go into some comments. Big up everyone inside. Chris has put some comments, as in obviously Chris Welch, so I'll get into them later. Said, you know, some of them are to do with the Coventry game. Steven says, big up to Ty, big up yourself, mate, big up yourself. Big up Spencer as well. Big up Josh AFC, who was on the stream the whole time the other day. So big up to yourself. Obviously, a lot of others were as well. Oh, yeah, camera's up a little bit, one of them moments. But yeah, big up. Big up to Kieran, says, yes, Ty, big up yourself. Spence says, big up to you. So does David, big up yourself. I'll find out tomorrow. Because hopefully I can get the, because I'm on the option where I can get, I've went to 5 games this season thing, you know, that one. So I'll find out tomorrow. Apparently Stephen, who is a season ticket holder, hasn't been able to order them.
A lot of people.
Interesting, yeah. Like I say, I know there's been a few issues, but flipping hell. Obviously Harry, obviously Birmingham fan. So beat Cov, beg, I won't hear the end of it. Them scumbags go up. And then Steve's big up to you as well. David says he got his tickets. Nice. Yeah, like I said, we'll find out tomorrow. And obviously if we are, me and you will both be going to that. So we'll let you lot know when I know. But yeah, obviously we took on Sunderland. Obviously in the second leg, obviously we needed. Oh, I just realised I haven't got the legendary. You know what? I haven't got up yet. There we go. It's only right. We've got to get the badge in. You know what I mean? So there we go. Obviously we took on Sunderland, as we know. Like I said, in the second leg, obviously we both expected a reaction. Obviously we both did go with a win. Yours in 90 minutes. Obviously you said 3-1. And obviously I said 2-1. I thought it'd go to penalties. Obviously, as for the lineup, was unchanged. In fact, was unchanged. Obviously, that's Ethan in goal, Osho, Lockyer, and Bell. Dremate on the right, Doherty on the left. Midfield of Nakamba, Ruddock, and Clark just in front, and then Morris Adebayo up front. As for your bench, is Berry, Burke, Campbell, Fred, Potts, Shea, Taylor. Now, like I said, unchanged lineup. It's good to see that Taylor was on the bench, though. Obviously, he wasn't on the bench in the first game, which is a little bit worrying in a sense. I was at that time, not necessarily because, you know, I know he hasn't scored yet, but he's come close. You know, like I've said, it was just, you know, the players that we, you know, could bring on to go up front are not actually strikers. Obviously, we know Woodrow's out. He will be back for the final. So it's good to see him back there if we needed him to come on. Other than that, I mean, I did still want to see Campbell start, but in the end, you know, we won the game, so I can't really complain. It worked, and the players stepped up that I would have replaced him for anyway, which would have been Ruddock. So, yeah, that was my thoughts on the lineup. Your thoughts on the lineup, Dad?
Yeah, exactly the same. The first thing I thought of when I saw it was like, yeah, kind of reiterates a little bit what we were saying, like when I said about Pelly, because he did have a poor game as well. Like if he gets picked, he simply just has to step up and prove that he, you know, and that's probably why he did go same lineup as well, because he knew. You know, you know, we can only sort of go on what we watch. But you know, obviously, when it comes down to the granular level, they know more than we do. You get me? So, but yeah, it was kind of it. Most of the team, pretty much. You know, you're not going to drop like certain players anyway, are you? So yeah, it's pretty much what we thought, and yeah, it's good to have a striker on the bench. And let's hope that Woodrow is actually fixed. I don't think it's been confirmed fully, but I reckon that he will be.
Yeah. And I remember Rob Edwards saying when he was discussing, you know, the first game against Sunderland upcoming, he did say if we progress to the final, Woodrow will most likely be available then.
Yeah,
so obviously they're keeping updates on injuries.
If I was, you know, for me, if they're both fit, I'd have both two strikers on the bench because it's a massive game, you know, and you might have to bring on like as many attacking players as you can. And I don't think Coventry have got that luxury really. So, you know, and you know, I ain't gonna say too much, but you know, I think we've got overall better quality. They've got a couple of very good players on their day, but overall we've got the better depth, and that should hopefully carry us through. But yeah, expected lineup, and it was just, you know, what you just got to go with it. That's it. I mean, it wasn't, like I said, there ain't going to be wholesale changes, are there? You just thought, right, they have to step up now. Them players that did play poor. Obviously, we knew Nakamba wouldn't be dropped. Front two, the whole, you know, pretty much everyone really. Like we're saying, was just saying possibly Campbell might start, but he didn't. But he did come on. So
yeah. No, absolutely. Let's go through some comments. Kieran saying there's still about 7K. Yeah, hopefully I can jump on that tomorrow. Add, you know, obviously the free I would like. Yeah, same here, Stephen, mate. Same here. I'll literally be all over it myself. Stephen was obviously there. He says, I've never experienced a vibe in the ground like that for a very long time. Yeah, obviously it did sound very good. For God's sake. It did sound very good from when I heard it. Obviously, before I went on the watch long. And yeah, based on that, then it was better than the Watford game, you know, when it comes to it, from what you're saying there. So that was good to hear, because obviously going into it, you know, I said I wanted it to be like that Watford game, if not better. And obviously it was, based on what you're saying and what I heard it was as well. So yeah, big up to Chris in the chat as well. He says, yes, lads, and everyone else. Big day on the 27th. Time to stick two fingers up at the FA. May have been down, but the town are back, hopefully with a big bang. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And Awais just comes in and says Wembley. Yep, no, absolutely, mate. But going into the first half, mate, the first half, geez, we were absolutely brilliant. Obviously, we did get our 2 goals in the first half. Osho with an early goal. And to be honest, I just had that feeling, you know, when he got that early goal, it was going to be like the Watford game, in the sense where obviously he got the early goal in that game, redeemed himself in certain senses, because he was one of the very not so, you know, great players in the first leg. And obviously he got the goal, you know, similar goal to Watford in the sense where he's in the box, really, tapping it in. And yeah, from that moment, I just believed that we was going to come back, to be honest. Your thoughts on the goal, Dad?
Just well worked. Just hungry. You know, glad that he scored again, because, as you know, I rate him highly anyway. For me, he was one of the better players in the previous game anyway. And he's just improved massively. He started to improve under Jones anyway, but since Rob Edwards has come in, he's done even better. And he's got quick feet, you know. He's a good footballer, that guy. So I was pleased he scored. He was obviously well pleased that he'd scored, and that, you know, a couple of seasons ago, he was like in Reading reserves or whatever, under 23s or whatever he was doing. Now look, he could be playing in the Premier League, mate. He's obviously going to give it his all. He has been. He will for the final. Yeah, very, very good goal. Again, a lot of pressure, good delivery, just switched on. Everything they were doing right. And they knew they do that. Have done that week in, week out. Do you know what I mean? So it's not hard for them to just pick that up and just go with it. And they've done that all season. And, you know, just being underestimated as well. They're just thriving off of it. So, yeah, long may it continue, you know. Good goal. Yeah, point out, scored by a defender. Yeah. But, you know, there was there's a lot more to talk about. Yeah, but yeah, good goal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Stephen's comments, he says different vibe in the derby. Yeah, absolutely. O'Shea has improved so much. Yeah, no, he has stepped up, hasn't he? Like we said. He also said Edwards seems to know the potential of all the players. Yeah, he does. He's always, bigging them up because there's still, people that underestimate him, like you said there, Dad. And he's like, nah, they're good players. The amount of times I've seen him, say that sort of thing in his interviews.
The thing is with O'Shea as well, he's just been a bit unlucky with certain things as well, like a couple of penalties. I think there's one that was probably definite penalty. A couple of others with handballs and that. They were just, do you know what I mean? Probably a bit unlucky, like with VAR and that, they probably wouldn't be penalties and things like that. Sending off, but that's because he was vexed, and even regardless of that, like against Watford, he just looked hungry, like God, and then he got Nathan Jones said, look, it's stupid, I guess so, but because we had injuries at that time more than anything. But since then, he's just improved.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%, definitely agree with that. So yeah, like I said, obviously we took the lead quite early, and I started to believe it was going to be one of them famous nights. Obviously, like I said, in Derby, O'Shea got the early goal there. We know weren't as early, but got a goal in the first half after all that pressure we applied, and then we knew what happened. So I thought it was going to be similar to that. And we could have made it a lot more. Cleared it off the line a few times. Keeper made a very good save on a Morris header. I thought that was in. What a first half performance it was. It was just crazy, wasn't it? How we unfortunately didn't get more. It weren't even like that we missed sitters. They were just defending for their lives, really, and the keeper made some good saves.
Yeah, we just pressured them, and there's a hell of a lot of, for me, a bit just stupid negative comments about that we do that. What's wrong with playing aggressive football? Just let that's how football used to be played. A lot more aggressive than that as well. Yeah. So what's the problem with it? I don't understand what the problem with it. They still get down. They play when they need to play. They'll play. Yeah, I've seen them do it. These so-called people who think they know the club. They ain't got a clue. They've watched a couple of games, and they're just basing everything on that. They have no idea the way we play. And you don't need to dominate possession. For what? Middlesbrough done it a lot, but when it mattered in the playoffs, they got found out because it's not about that. Do you know what I mean? It's about winning games. So obviously you're going to play to your strengths, but eventually we will be getting players who can pass it and this, that, and the other. But I think still that philosophy in the background will be you still have to be able to press. I don't care how good you are on the ball, you've still got to be able to do those things. Do you know what I mean? And it's just dynamic the way we play. So bring it on. There needs to be, as there's a lot of sideways football played in the Premier League anyway, and things like that. So whatever. And you know, and we just played them off the park.
Yeah, we did.
You know.
See, I'll get more into it at the end. What I was going to say.
At least been 2-0 up at half time, at least.
Yeah. Well, could have been more than 2. Obviously, you were 2-0.
Yeah.
Lockyer got the goal to make it 2-0. That's 3 out of 4 for him now. You know, he's a defender. He is doing absolutely brilliant. You know, even defending. He's starting to get more recognition now, even more. And if he carries on like this, I don't see no reason why he won't start for Wales. You know, in the next play their games. And yeah, it's just a brilliant goal by him. Doherty obviously crossed it in, was headed away, not fully. Drame played it back to him, and he played it in. Lockyer there again, and yeah, absolute scenes is the word I'm going to use for that. Brilliant, wasn't it? Yet again.
And this is another thing, like if you watch Luton properly, like we all do, obviously, but up certain people, yeah. They always play the correct pass 99% of the time. Do you know what I mean? The key passes for us are brilliant. They've got Osho goal against Watford, you know, things like that. Yes, we're not just lumping it and hoping. This is the calculated things we're doing here. Yeah, and Lockyer just showed it. They just wanted it. It's been like that the last few games, and he's just hungry, and he's got that belief in himself, and that's a massive boost. I think we did mention it. I did say that, you know, he scored in the last, you know, to see if he can step up. And that's exactly what he did. Brilliant goal. Another defender, by the way, Mowbray, about lumping it up to our forwards, and that's what's giving you all the issues. And, you know, they were only ever going to score from set pieces and all this nonsense. We nearly scored 3 or 4 goals from normal play.
Yeah, exactly.
Just sour grapes, mate, from that guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it is absolutely. And the thing that makes me laugh as well about that comment is both their goals in the first leg were set pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So it don't really, like I say, sour grapes 100%, because it just don't make sense when you actually look at the first leg as well. But there we go. Stephen, thoughts on the first half? Says incredible first half. Our high press works again. Absolutely. You know, and people,
I'll go back to it again. You know, it's like you're not allowed to do that. You know, in the Premier League, that's what they're already talking about in the final. I've heard comments from, you know, Sky, terrible. 2 different footballing teams. You know, Luton play the way they play, kind of thing. And Coventry like to get the ball down and play football. Do they? Fuck, mate. They do exactly the same thing, like on a bigger scale, lumping it up. That's all they were doing both games. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've got no clue what they're talking about. It's just like Joan there, just picking up on buzzwords and what people are saying and just rolling with it instead of actually, you know, looking into the facts. So the real guys out there will know. You know, for instance, I can't wait to see, well, you know, Roy King just works for ITV or whatever, but it'd be interesting to see what he says about our team. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a physical game, is it not? And you know, what are you going to do? Just let teams pass it about and break you down? Of course, you're not going to do that. You know, and if it was just constant lumping it up forward and that, after time, the passes would be poor. This is what I was saying about key passes and the way we, you know, they're good football players. It's just so disrespectful. It winds me up. So yeah, bring on the high press. Bring it into the Premier League. Obviously, you know, it's not going to always work, but it's going to rattle us quite a few teams. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, you even saw when, you know, Nathan Jones done it for Southampton against Man City.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people go, oh, it's a rotated Man City team, but still, you know, we know their rotated team is just ridiculous. So
it worked.
Yeah, it worked. So, like I say, it's not always going to work, but it will work at times. You know, so yeah, that's what I think. And yeah, we know we always say this. You know, that's why Lockyer never gets picked, because obviously their manager is former Watford, isn't he? So it's just one of them. But surely, if he carries on like this, people knocking on that door.
You can't not
exactly
hammer for it.
Yeah, exactly. Harry says, stop Gyökeres and Hammer, and I reckon you'll win. Yeah, they're two standout players for me. And, it goes back to, obviously, we don't want to preview it as much as, I'm going to say bits now. But, I think other than that, we got more than enough, to be honest, especially quality all round. So, yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But, yeah, that is the first half. Then, obviously, moving on to the second half, again, could have been a lot more, The only spell I'd say Sunderland had in this game was probably the start of the second half for about 5-10 minutes. But then after that, it was all us again, Obviously, a standout chance I can think of was right at the end. See, Drame. Looking back at it, he should have played it across, but, it didn't matter in the end. We was in a good position. But we had a few chances. We did have a few chances. I think they cleared it off the line again in the second half.
Yeah,
I can't remember it's from
as well where he possibly should have squared it.
Yeah.
Again, they just couldn't handle it.
No.
We shut their players down. So still had good players on the pitch. And you've got to find the answers to these problems. And I'm sure Premier League teams will against us. So don't be spouting, they're doing well. We couldn't. That's the only reason they beat us and all that crap. You've got to find ways to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? Simple as that. Same as with Coventry and Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, I don't know what they were doing. They just refused. Until the last 5-10 minutes or whatever. Then they started properly just swinging balls into the box. And why aren't you doing that anyway? You don't have to do it all the time if you just believe in that philosophy of slow play and possession play and that. But you still need to be doing it because you'll just get shut down by the better tactical teams. So, just it's about winning. It's about doing what you can to win and progress. And some of the football we was playing in League One, I've said it before, was brilliant. And since Rob Edwards has come in, I've seen us play some brilliant football, and you can see it's of a high standard. And you will see that as well at Wembley, definitely.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So yeah, it should have been more.
It was brilliant. I remember sitting on the watch long and just thinking for that second half. Obviously, the last game, in the first leg, I was urging changes to be made. But this game, I didn't really. There was one I said on the watch long, which was, I think it was, I can't remember what it was. I think it was Berry on for Clark or Campbell on for someone. But I wasn't, thinking we need to rush to do it because we was comfortable, most of that game. So yeah, it's one of them. Obviously, we did only make one change, but like I said, we were comfortable for most of that. See a lot of their fans and people in general saying they were poor. No, we just limited them to chances. For me, and we were just so dominant and good, like we can be, and like we have been at times at home this season. Not necessarily as at the start, as we know, but since Rob Edwards has come in, other than that West Brom game, I think we've Burnley, but at Burnley we played decent. West Brom we did for about 11 minutes, and then I don't know what happened. But other than that, we've been like that on teams.
And a key thing as well. Apparently, they had in the previous games against them, they'd scored in every single game, and I think they'd possibly I don't know if they scored in a lot of away games as well. So clean sheet.
Yeah,
that's a big thing for us because that's going to be a big thing at Wembley. But we've like I said, don't want to get too much into it, but we've played Coventry a few times over the years, recently as well, and they've had Victor and Hamer in their team, and we've still dealt with them pretty. We battered them as well when they've had them players and beat them comfortably as well. So, and again in the first game against Middlesbrough, they weren't. Gyökeres was marshalled very, very well, and Hamer he wasn't quite at his game, but he was very good in this game though, very, very good, and he probably will be their best player. But I feel like we'd have touch wood and that, but I think that our defence will cope with them, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to save what I'm going to say for next Friday when it comes to that. But what I will say is, Hamer, yeah, I agree. I've said it for a few weeks now. Well, I've said it longer, but started, saying it even more. He is a good player, so I do think he will be. As well. So we will see. We will see with that. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say on the 90 minutes. Is there anything else you want to say before we get into the player ratings?
Well, I'll just touch on the save that Ethan made.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention that in the first half. Yeah.
They booted it back in, whacked Amari Bell's hand. For me, I just don't think that's handball. That if it was given, it would have been well harsh, but yeah, it's a good save. And just that moment, just to clarify.
Double save as well, technically, because there was one moment before the handball and then the other moment. So, yeah, no, absolutely.
Because that could have turned the game.
Yeah. And the thing is, even if, people say it was, it's about time, stuff starts going our way, because the amount of times things haven't.
Well, like I say, it wasn't a penalty, was it?
Yeah, exactly.
Ground, so.
And that point gained them, getting in the playoffs. So let's be honest. Even when they played Huddersfield a few weeks after, they should have lost that game. So it's one of them. But for me, we just rose to the occasion. We stepped up and won the game. As simple as that. And we're ahead of them in that sense at the moment, and we showed it.
And
that's why we finished third.
Yeah,
the atmosphere. Yeah.
No, that definitely 100% helped.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously one fan got a bit handy with one of their players and has been banned. But yeah, you shouldn't be really doing that because you're only going to get banned, aren't you? So, but other than that, the atmosphere is hostile and because there's a few of their fans, they just, at the end, obviously they clap their team and that, but we shut them up, and the players were sort of giving it up. We're not bothered about the atmosphere and stuff, but it definitely 100% affected them because it just naturally will. So yeah, that was good that we did bring it, but we knew we would anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's that. Moving on to the player ratings. So obviously we'll start off with Ethan in goal, of course. Like you said, made a good save. Well, good double save. Clean sheet again. Stepped up from obviously last game. Like I said, the goals in the last game he couldn't have saved. It was just obviously his distribution was a bit questionable, but definitely stepped up in this game. I'm going to be saying that of a lot of players in this player ratings. So my rating for Ethan, I'll go over 8.
Yeah, I'll give him an 8. Just composed. When he needed to be calm. Especially near the end and stuff like that, he was. Good save, good distribution, just on it. Fully switched on. He wants it just as much as the rest of them do. So yeah, 8.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Stephen's gone professional, stable, 7.5 exactly. Jackie's gone with an 8 as well. Moving on we'll go over to Bell. I thought for me he was the best player in the last game, the first leg. Not that he, was a lot better than everyone else. I just thought, he was trying to do what he usually does, but it wasn't quite working out. But stepped up in this game. Another player we expected to step up. He did. Really good. For me, most consistent player for us, I would say, especially if, the position changes he's had to do in games this season. And yeah, he was good for me. I'm going to go with I'll go with 7.5.
I'll give him that 8 as well. Thought he was really good, just composed again, switched on, done his role well, made some good runs forward. Excellent when we needed him defensively. Didn't put foot wrong, do you know what I mean? So yeah, another 8 for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Jackie's on 8.5 for Bell. Stephen says, Bell, keep up the performance. Job well done. Exactly, mate. He's gone with 7.8 as well. Moving on we'll go over to Lockyer. Obviously, got the second goal. Like I said, 3 out of 4 for him. he's a defender as well, as we know. It's crazy. Shout out to him. You can see that he's got the confidence, like you said earlier. And do you know what? He's my man of the match. A lot of players are up there because how much they stepped it up and just improved from the last game. But I'm going to give it to Lockyer. Clean sheet as well. Scored the goal, which obviously put us into the lead in this tie, and obviously went on to win it. So I'm going to go. Oh, what am I going to go with the rating though? No, do you know what? He didn't put anything wrong. Clean sheet, 10.
Yeah, I'll give him a 10. He's also my man of the match. There's a lot of players that are close as well. But yeah, because of the goal, the hunger, the desire, the way he defended, again, his discipline is very good. It needs to be as well. In the final, one more step, you know what I'm saying? So just keep that going. And just the whole team look to him as well. Do you know what I mean? You can just feel it. Yeah, great performance. Definitely a 10.
Yeah, there you go. Jackie's gone with a 9 for Lockyer. Stephen says Lockyer, scorer, defender, blocker, header. Literally all of them. He's gone with an 8 as well. Fair enough. And then moving on to Osho, who obviously got the first goal, early goal. It gave me confidence, that we were going to go on to definitely come back. That's for sure. Because like I said, scored an early goal against Watford. We know what happened there. Similar goal in the sense where it's in the box. And yeah, he's up there for man of the match as well for me. As for a rating for Osho, I was really impressed with Osho. Clean sheet, 9.5.
Yeah, he was close as well. 9.5 for me. Good goal. Didn't panic. Do you know what I mean? Obviously couldn't really miss, but still, some players will get all tangled up and scuff it or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Instant reaction. Made some very good runs forward as well. Always playing a decent pass. Good defensively when he needed to be as well. 9.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Jackie's gone with a 8.5. Harry's got in the we've got Super Robbie Edwards, and then at the end he says, let's hope Luton obviously win. Can't stand Cov. Yep. Hopefully, mate. Hopefully. Stephen says, Osho, great performance. Impressive man of the match for Stephen. Fair enough. Like I said, he was close to me. He's gone with 9.8. Okay, fair enough. So that's the back three, including the keeper. Moving on to the wing backs. Start off with Dre May. Obviously, he should have, looking back at it, he should have squared that thing, like I said. But again, we was in a very good position. Other than that, I thought he was brilliant. He stepped up. And yeah, just showed his quality yet again. We say that pretty much every game, that he's played for us so far. So I'll go with 8.5.
I'm going to give him a 9. I thought he was excellent. Just switched on, showing the quality, Premier League quality that he's got. He missed that chance, but he wanted to score, and he weren't too far away. To be fair to him, and for me, like, that just shows his hunger. It weren't really greed for me. It was just like he wanted to, and his performance, was involved in definitely the second goal. He was just, and marked them very well. So 9 for me.
Yep, fair enough. Stephen says Dre May is confident enough, not scared to take on players. Exactly, 8.5, says Stephen. Yep, fair enough. Same with me. And then Jackie's gone with the same as well, 8.5. So yeah, moving on to Doty. Again, obviously got the assist for the second goal. First goal, I can't actually remember who got the assist. But he was brilliant again. Again, stepped up to it. We know he's been a lot better when he's played, in that. Well, sorry, he's been very consistent when he's played in that position. Obviously, it's not his main position, the left wing back. And yeah, he stepped up. Stepped up. Again, I don't think he was terrible in the first game, but I know that he can do better. So my rating for Doherty, I'm going to go with 8.5 again.
I'll give he's a 9 for me. Thought he was really, really good, excellent. Always looked at danger. Yeah, obviously brilliant delivery, and just always looking to run. And if he needed to do defensive work, he was doing it. You know, probably one of his best games. And I still feel that there's more to come from him as well. You know, he's capable of scoring very good goals as well at points, and let's hope he gets one. But yeah, 9.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Jackie's got 8.5 as well. Doherty beginning to just know what to expect. Delivering crosses are on point at the moment. Says Stephen, 8.8. Yeah, they are very good. They're very consistent, like we said earlier. So yeah, that's the wing backs. Now moving on to the midfield, we'll start off with Ruddock. Obviously, you know, I said to obviously when we went into this game, obviously for me I'd have started Campbell over him, but obviously it worked in the end. Ruddock stepped up massively. Obviously, you know, he was at fault, as we know, for the first goal that Sunderland did get, obviously in the first leg. But he stepped it up. He was absolutely brilliant. Again, he's up there for a man and a match shout for me. Yeah, he was just really good again. So, yeah, my rating for Ruddock, again, I'm going to go with another 8.5.
Another 9 for me. Brilliant performance defensively as well. He timed his tackles to perfection this time. You know, he's good passing. He nearly scored. Roberts cleared it off the line. He was involved. You know, all the time, consistently. So yeah, I was impressed with it. Very good performance. So yeah, not another 9 for me.
Fair enough. Jackie's gone with a 9 as well. Mapanzu wanted it Tuesdays, running around every blade of grass, says Stephen, 9.3. Yeah, exactly. Agree with that. And now moving on to Nakamba, again, another player we, wanted to step it up, and we know he's been a lot better for us, and he did step it up in this game. Again, another shout for man of the match. There's so many players up there for me in this game. You know, I was actually debating to give it to everyone, but then there was one player who was still good, but not so great. But I will get into that compared to the others. But yeah, he was really good. You know, winning the ball back. We know he's very good at cleaning up in that sense, and he was just doing that again. It's absolutely phenomenal, mate. Like, what a player he is. What a gem we have on our hands at the moment. Do you know what I mean? And depending on what Villa do, obviously if they do get a European spot, I think we got a very good chance of getting him. Next season, obviously, if we do go up. Even if we don't, I still think we have a good chance. But he's up there for me. I'm going to go over 9.
Yeah, he's close to me, 9.5. It's back. This is what I liked about him, because he was gung-ho in the previous game, and you've seen that. But we know generally he's not. He's like, and that shows a real quality that he is that player, and he knows when to, back off and just play the best game he can. And he done it again everywhere, timing his tackle to perfection, knowing when to release the ball, keeping calm. And it's a massive help, and it will be again a massive help for us. I think I've said a few times that he's, them two signings, Dre May, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're involved massively in getting us to the Premier League, and then you've got to give credit to the recruitment team for that. Because I'll tell you what, the first couple of games we was like, what? Like, no, what's he doing? Like, a game and a half, I think it was.
Yeah, it was that pressing, wasn't it?
But since then, he does help us get clean sheets. I'm telling you now, and he's going to be vital. So yeah, 9.5.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Definitely agree. Just solid player, mate. What guy he is. So yeah, Jackie's gone with a 9. Harry's obviously getting in the Nakamba chant. Nakamba is just solid, calms everything down. So Stephen, 8.8. Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. And then moving on to Clark, who's obviously ahead. Now, for me, he was still decent, but not as good as everyone else. You know, he did have a few good chances. You know, they were blazed over the bar. I do see it sometimes when I go to away games. I remember Wigan when I went with British Chap. You know, he was shooting before, and I was like, "What's going on here?" Hopefully, it's not like that during the games. But yeah, he did have a few chances that he did scuff. You know, he still wasn't terrible. You know, he'd still done all right, still done some decent passing and that. But I've seen better from him. You know, I've seen better for him. I'm gonna go. He is going to be my lowest rating. I'm gonna go with a 7.
Yeah, same. You know, the yellow card kind of early-ish on, sort of, which was unneeded, and I thought, no, that's not it. And that basically, I don't know, he just seemed to stop playing a little bit after that, you know, and then he obviously plays that chance. We know he can do better. We know he can, and hopefully his time to step up will be at Wembley as well. But yeah, 7 for me.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Jackie's gone with a 7.5 for Clark. Fair enough. Stephen says Clark looks okay, not out of place, finding holes and taking corners. 8. Yeah, he did take a few corners as well, didn't he? See, which we've seen him do a few times. Obviously, a lot of different people take corners for us. It's not just one stick. And then moving on to the front two, we'll start off with Morris. Again, you know, I don't think he was as bad as certain people were saying in the first leg, but he did need to step it up. You know, he was flicking it on a few times, and I think even he knew, you know, I said it in the reaction, people weren't there, but he was still doing it anyway. Stepped up in this game, you know, held the ball well. Obviously, we know he's very good at that. And yeah, he was decent for me. You know, as much as he, you know, didn't score, he still played a massive part. So I'm going to go with I'll go with 8.
I'm going to give him a 9. I thought he was brilliant. He was unlucky not to score.
Yeah, that save.
Header should have been in, and then another one point blank where he cleared off the line. You know, he would have scored. And again, his all-round play and everything, you know, was how we know it to be. So yeah, and he ain't scored yet in the playoffs, so his time hopefully will come at Wembley. But yeah, I thought he was really good. And 9.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Jackie's gone with the same, you know, same number as his shirt, of course. Obviously, I've done that a few times with his rating. Stephen says Morris making an nuisance of himself, but not his best. Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly. He was. You know, he weren't awful. He was still doing stuff. Very unlucky not to score, like you said. But yeah, I think he might get one in the final. That's all I'm going to say on that now. That's all I'm going to say on that. But yeah, moving on to obviously the last player that started was obviously Elijah. Again, you know, he was decent. You know, putting in that hard work. You know, start of the season, we didn't, you know, sometimes he's very static, didn't really move around. But, you know, later stages of the season, much as he hasn't got as many goals as we'd like him to, he's still been, you know, making impacts. So he did score in the first leg. And yeah, I thought he was decent. I'll go with another 8.
I'll give him 8.5. I thought he was very good. I thought he looks hungry. He looks like he's got a lot of belief at the moment. Some of the runs he was making, you know, it's hard to deal with. The players panic. He's going to be a very, very good asset to us in the final, I believe. And like I said, he's already scored what he didn't in this game, but you know, he was very, very lively and looking more dangerous as the conclusion it becomes. You know what I'm saying? So 8.5.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Jackie's gone with an 8 for Elijah. And then moving on, we only made one sub. Like I said, I was confident on the watch long that we didn't need to rush to make any, compared to obviously the other leg. But in the end, you know, again, that proved that it didn't have to happen. So yeah, obviously it was Campbell that come on for Clark, and he was just getting stuck in, you know, for the last 7 minutes that he was on, plus the added time. So yeah, he was just getting stuck in, doing his usual, working hard. So I'll just give him I'll go with 8.
I'll give him 7.5. Thought he was decent. It was only 7 minutes, but you know, he didn't look out of place. Again, obviously, because he's a good player, and just breaking down play and just stopping them, you know, playing it around and things like that. And that's, you know, what it was kind of brought on to do, and he done it. And obviously, Clark can't, you don't want to get a yellow card at the end of the game. And I think if he gets sent off, then I think he would miss the final. So, yeah. And, it's good that we rested. We've still got players that didn't come on. So it's good. It's looking good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So yeah, the last load of ratings from you lot. Jackie says, overall, I was impressed with them all. Yeah, pretty much all of them for me. Clark weren't terrible, but I've seen him do better. Adebayo, his hold-up play is incredible now, says Stephen. He always works hard. Nobody picks up on it. Yeah, exactly. I'm starting to notice it a lot more. Start of the season, like I said, very static. But, now he's stepped up even more. Jackie's gone 7.5 for Campbell as well. Pitbull slotted in well, always makes a challenge, 7.5, exactly that. So there you go. They are the player ratings for the Sunderland game. See, in the second leg, obviously I give it to Lockyer. So did you as well. See, a lot of players very close as well. But my final thoughts on it, brilliant turnaround, expected, response from our players. We certainly got it. I think the thing that would factor us as well, I didn't say it as much, but, having that experience of being in there, obviously, yeah, they were in playoffs last season, that was in League One, so fair play to them for getting there. But in the end, I think our quality just shone through and we're going to Wembley, Dad. Your final thoughts? You'd like to sound it? And I know you did want to talk about something else, so we'll briefly get into that as well.
What's that?
The tickets. Didn't you want to talk about the tickets?
Yeah. Just we obviously deserved it. Played well. We knew we'd step up. I was always confident. I've said it to you in private anyway. Even if it was 1-0 down at their place, I still would have been confident because I know the way we can play. And yeah, it's just all tuned up. Exactly what we need. It was at the time. Even now it's like, whoa, like one game away. Like it's just bizarre for me, really, at times, because our dark moments, seeing us losing playoffs to York, losing in the final to them, throwing stuff at their players because their players celebrated in front of our fans, and they had to literally run out over the back gardens like that kind of way. I think they had to go out that way to and just dark moments and fans turning against the players when we're in a conference, early days, and it's just massive. And I just think that it's just built for us this season. I really, really, really do. And I'm, some of the negative press we're getting is quite frankly just hilarious, absolutely clueless. And as we're getting more and more noticed, especially with the stadium, a lot of people were just actually liking it because it's different, it's unique, and that's what everyone thrives to be nowadays, or generally. And that's what it is, and it should be respected, not ridiculed. It should be actually respected, and we're going to hopefully force it to be respected as well. And yeah, just bizarre comments. We have to ground share with MK Dons. We won't be allowed in the Premier League, and just sort of misinformation and things like that. But let them crack on, because the reality is we could be a Premier League club in just over a week. So that's sinking. Let that sink in. And we've still got a job to do, right? We've still got a massive job to do. But this is the time to do it. So yeah, that's all I want to say on it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's I was losing that sense. Obviously, trying not to get into the game as much as possible and save it, but I really do. I just think it's the time. I did say at the start of the season, I said fourth in playoffs. So, if we'd finish third and win the playoffs, I'll take that. I'm very close. So, yeah, man, that's that. Like Stephen says here, obviously, we've never made a playoff final in the Football League. Obviously, we know our playoff record's not great, but I think if there's a time to do it, it's now. And, like you say, especially, obviously, I know Stephen's been similar with the heartbreaks and that. You lot are very confident. Obviously, I am, but like you lot have seen what's happened in the past, so you know more than me when it comes to that. But yeah, it's the time is now. Do you know what I mean? That's how I see it. That's how you see it, and I'm sure that's how a lot of you see it as well. So yeah, it is. It really is. When you think of, just how it has been. The thing that stands out for me the most is the budget we're on as well, and we're just consistently recruiting very well,
proving that you don't need to spend. I've seen Premier League teams spend massively and do nothing.
Look at Chelsea this season.
Yep, it's just stupidness, and with other teams have done it who are in the Premier League as well. Brentford, Brighton. When them teams were in League 2, Division 4, whatever you want to call it, they were down there consistently. And if you got to keep the soul of the club and keep believing in what you're doing, and that's what we're doing. It's not going to change. It's like a steamroller. And let's hope we can do it, because the problem is the money and all that it brings you more than it wouldn't be. It's not devastating if we didn't go up, as in footballing wise, because we know we'll still be there or thereabouts next season, I believe. But it's the money that chance to get that helps you massively. No one can deny that. So as long as that pressure's not put on the players and that, and then they just believe in how they can play in that, so it's got to be done for me, and it will be done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely, Harry, mate, absolutely. It's just being there is just going to be cool. Going to be absolutely phenomenal. But
and the thing is as well, that's what it's got to, right? A few years ago when we got to the Championship, I was like, look, I don't care if we just sit in that division, not getting relegated for 3, 4, 5 years and just staying up and just trying to, and we've just done that a hell of a lot quicker. And now it feels if we don't go up, it would be a massive failure. But then we do, when it boils down, if it does happen, then we just have to take things into perspective. Say, look, still going to pick our status up. I've heard that if you get a lot of money, even if you lose the final, not nowhere near what you get if you got promoted, but you get a few million. You know what I mean? And we're going to be noticed. It's not going to derail anything. It's still going to help us regardless. But
no, absolutely. First one, let's make it count. Yeah, exactly. Let's get it off to a flyer, mate. Let's get it off to a flyer. Do you know what I mean? Jackie says, look at Shitford. Yeah, exactly. It's true, though. It's true. Obviously we don't like them, but what don't help with them for me is the manager thing. Like, they're just idiots for that. They are. Big up Hannah in the chat. He says, hi, mate. He says, what time is the final? 4:45, I think. Next Saturday. So, yeah. There's that. I remember when Huddersfield made it. Yeah, exactly. They were, weren't they? To be fair, I sort of understand that because they are usually down there, but they just had that togetherness as well. And then as soon as obviously the manager left, that's just where it went downhill for the majority of the season. It's mental how much you get, from the playoffs. It really is when you think about it. And 4:45, I thought it was, And then I know there's briefly something you wanted to talk about, briefly.
Talk about majorly like with the ticket thing and that. Like, I see the clamour for tickets. I see why they've gone Ticketmaster. It has been a shambles a little bit from what I've heard. I haven't directly been on there. Obviously, I know you're going to do that tomorrow. But listen, it is what it is. Like, the tickets are expensive. There's always corporate people. There's always going to be people trying to make money, gloating, etc., etc. But I don't care. We'll hopefully be able to get a couple of tickets tomorrow. Yeah. And yeah, we might be sitting up in the clouds or whatever. But when I was there 2009, still decent view. You could still see enough of what you can see. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they're that far away as you think they are. And you can still see a very good game of football, and you're in the atmosphere. You got a very good view of Wembley in that respect. Because if you was down the front and that, yeah, you can see the players closer and that's it. But you're not going to be looking around you like that. Whereas when you're up there, you can just see everything.
Yeah.
And it is good. It is good. So and just to be there. And the thing is as well, there's going to be people that definitely won't be able to get tickets. So we do manage to get some, we're lucky. But if not, then you just go Wembley. You just go to Wembley. You just go outside around the area, and there'll be thousands of Luton fans there that will just be doing that anyway.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. If you can't go, you can't go. Isn't it? Like, it's just the way it is. And it's the way Wembley are as well. They've got a lot of corporate tickets and things like that which they hold on to. They've only gave us that allocation. I've seen some stupid comments from people on social media saying that, oh yeah, Luton won't even sell 20,000. This is going to be the worst final ever. Both teams, just the usual nonsense. But I think they were both from like Sunderland fans, just salty, aren't they? Like, have some respect. And Coventry, I think they were like, well, we should be giving more tickets. Luton have only got like 10,000 fans. What are you on about? And that's it, because I think your stadium only holds 10,000. That's your global reach. If we get to the Premier League, our global reach is just gonna it just does. That's what happens. Kids will grow up and they go, no, like this team, like look how aggressive. Look at they don't care that Haaland's have been getting £100 million player. Look, they're trying to tackle him. Like, that's what it does. That's what it does. So, and we just need to be part of it. Simple as that. The reach, like even just from like FIFA, your stadium in it, your players' faces, your things like that, it makes a massive difference. Your money goes up, and that's all we needed as well. And then they can't really be talking about budgets so much then.
No.
And if we can get the caliber of players we have got for what we did purchase them for, etc., etc., think what we can do when we get to the big stage. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we're not going to be going outside, but we'll sign gems. We'll be the one, like Brighton do. Like Liverpool did to a certain extent with certain players. Like Suarez, they've done that. They paid like 10 million for him, not even that. Or something. And that's what we do. Yeah, we probably we've got a lot of English players. So we will probably end up signing some foreign players and that. But sometimes you have to do that. And that's going to be interesting as well. But there's a lot of dynamics. You don't have to live in Luton. Yeah, you can drive 5 minutes out, 10 minutes outside of Luton, and there's plenty of places that are nice that you can live comfortably. And do you know what I mean? So it's closely to, like, there's a lot of dynamics going into it that is going to be a big draw for us. Also, the fact that Milton Keynes franchise have got relegated, there'll be people in that area as well, like growing up thinking, do you know what, like let's go watch Luton instead. They're playing Arsenal tomorrow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's massive. It is massive. Everyone knows, when you really think about it properly. And regardless, we get relegated in the first season. It's helped up massive. Just purely based on the way we're run. It can't go backwards at this stage.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
So yeah, if you're lucky enough to get a ticket, fair play.
Yeah. So obviously, Stephen, like I said, he's a season ticket holder and he's still struggling. So David says he's got one, so fair play. No, mate, I don't care either. As long as I hopefully get one, we're on the same page. Hence why we're, obviously related in that sense. We don't care where we're sitting, as long as we hopefully can go to the game.
A lot of people like that, but there is some that, they're like, yeah, I'll bet, because I don't know if 6 tickets was too much to give. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying.
Because I just feel like it is a little bit. Apparently, Coventry only gave 2 per, but they've got a bigger season ticket, volume than us anyway. So they wouldn't have done 6 anyway. But it is what it is. We won't be getting any more tickets. I'm waiting for the comment to say, well, they didn't take as much as they did to the St Johnstone Paint Trophy, and this is to get in the Premier League comments. Bound to see some at some point. Say, do you know how much was allocated, mate? That's it. That's all you can do. Unless they give us more ticket. If they give us another 10,000, we'd sell them and all.
Yeah, agree.
I reckon we could easily get 50k.
Yeah.
If they gave us the tickets. That's what I reckon.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I always say it. As much as I don't remember the game, obviously I know from what you said and me seeing the game back, we sold out for the St Johnstone's Paint Trophy. That's 40,000. This is a much bigger game. As we know, this is to go to the big time, as everyone calls it. So, absolutely agree. But yeah, I didn't know this. I searched it up, and Swansea manager's going to Southampton. Russell Martin, which is interesting.
I heard that. My mate at work was talking about that. Because we was talking about Swansea as well, because they've done really well when we was talking about them next season and stuff. But
they were my actual dark horse to be in that playoff battle, and they sort of were until that whole game.
Well, let's see who the new manager of Cardiff or Swansea is going to be then, because I'm sure Nathan Jones is going to be thrown into that hat.
Yeah.
I could see him going to who is it he supports?
Cardiff.
Maybe he won't go to Swansea then, but you never know.
True.
Let's see if they keep hold of him this time. Give him as well. They have to. They're in Championship now, aren't they? So they've got to give him more of a chance than they gave Mr. Jones.
Nathan Jones, yeah, no, absolutely. Spencer's clearly not a big fan of Ticketmaster, as you can tell there. But yeah, there you go with that. What other comments? Yeah, hopefully we do, man. Hopefully we do. Even Stephen as well. I know me and Stephen will plan to meet as well before if we both manage to get one. Yeah, that's the thing, Harry, mate. That's the thing that makes me laugh. The only time it was sold out, from what I saw, was their home game. In the playoff. So I don't know how they're saying that, to be honest. Didn't know that, but that's interesting. I've been in there once, and I'm officially over 18 now, because at the time, well, I was anyway, but my mate wasn't. He was a year below, so we had to go.
I wouldn't mind going there. If we can't get tickets, I'd go there. They're massive.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. It's good in there. Yeah, it's good in there, man. I've been there a few times.
It'd be decent. Yeah,
exactly. And there'd be more people, interact with our fans. And,
if you can, the thing is, the players will know that there's fans that can't get tickets, and they'll be in London and things like that anyway. They know all that. So if that is all you can do, that's all you can do. Like that sounds pretty decent, to be fair, as an alternative.
Yeah, I didn't know we had it. So thanks for telling me, David, mate. That's interesting. Like I said, I've been there a few times. It's good. It's good in there. So yeah, man. No, I didn't see that. I'm not sure if you saw that, Dad.
No, I haven't seen the tweet, but yeah, I know we was. I think we finished second, even though people say we bottled it to Accrington, but we got promoted. I think they won the playoffs, maybe, or finished third. Can't remember, but recently, 2017-18 season, and they used to be a bogey team to us years ago. No, I think I used to say it to you, Tyler. But we just we started being their bogey team basically over the past few years, and so let's hope that continues.
Yeah. Hanno knows, mate. Kenilworth Road. He'll know about it. Don't you worry about that.
We beat anyone at Kenilworth Road.
Kenilworth Road. Agree. Totally agree. You know, you've seen the amount of people that have been there.
Do you know what I mean?
Look at company this season.
Yeah.
What he said about it.
We can definitely surprise people. Yeah, he wanted us in the Premier League, didn't he? If anyone's beat us, it'll be him because he knows how to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Oh God, imagine that. Oh my God.
Pep will be ringing him up, going, "How did you manage that, man? You know, no, just joking. Let's not get ahead of ourselves." But
yeah. Let's relax. Free is how many I need, mate. 3. Same, to be honest, mate. Same, to be honest.
I think I don't know how many did they get. Same, yeah. Must be surely.
Not sure. It should be, yeah. It should be because that's only right. But if anyone knows, let us know.
I reckon
that's interesting. I didn't know that. Fair enough.
Yeah. See, there's all that. That's what people are underestimating as well. It's a massive thing. Like if the work, you could go to the town centre and it'll be on some everywhere. Do you know what I mean? There'd be people walking around the town and you know, listening and cheering and all sorts, you know.
Yeah. I reckon the Saints down to League One.
It worked has suggested that because they've done that before, but I said no, I don't think it's that bad. But
it's interesting though. It's an interesting appointment. That's what I will say.
Can happen.
Yeah. Southampton are actually getting Nathan Jones back for better manager than Russell. Yeah, I don't understand. He is, in my opinion, as well. You know, let's be real, right? I've said it numerous times. The reason people don't like him is because the way he comes across and says it how it is. You know, they don't like the way he says it and his tones and stuff like that. You know, I remember the amount of people would bring on for the Hat Show. You know, big up to all of them. You know, but they would say, "Oh, I don't like him."
They don't like his arrogance. They don't like his arrogance, but. You know, when Mourinho done it, after a while, people are like, actually, yeah. But you can say, yeah, but that's because he done. But he had money behind him as well, and Jones is of similar ilk to that, and he will get the chance to prove that in my eyes. So we'll see. He'll be managing the Championship anyway.
He'll do well for the Championship, whoever it is.
Yeah. I'd say he's probably talking to teams now potentially, or they've got their eye on him. I'll tell you that now.
I mean, I don't. Obviously, you would have saw the first leg where he was on the punditry, but I think like a couple of hours before he was being asked about his time at Southampton. That so people are probably looking at him, listen to that, see what he said from there. But you know, the thing for me is if they're gonna actually give him a chance, then he'll do very well. If you're just gonna be on him from minute one, then it's just not going to work, and that's what you saw at Southampton. You know, it was harsh because he still did. Pull off some really good results. And like I said earlier, beating City in the Cup, people go, oh, but they rotate. It don't matter. Yeah, City's rotational squad is just ridiculous.
The league with an unproven manager.
And that's what City win as well, the last few years, except obviously Liverpool, but that's their trophy usually.
No, he's still got, he's had a game against Pep and he's beaten. Like, come on, man. It can't be that bad.
That's exactly. And it was that pressing, we went back to earlier. That's what he done.
The way Luton, it did. It really did. There's similar goals as well, like the way they were,
Yeah, one of the goals in that game was really good, actually. He lobbed the keeper or something, didn't he? Pretty sure. Obviously, Shay is gassed about Wembley. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. Well, I had to be, but I was 18. It was just my mate who I was with. He was the year below, so we only could be there to a certain time. But obviously now that wouldn't matter. One, he wouldn't be going with me. Yeah, exactly. So this is what Spencer's at sound Ticketmaster. He says, I never have any problems getting tickets, even tickets to the tougher shows. Obviously, he lives out in America. On Ticketmaster, but their convenience fees are outrageous. So there you go. There's a bit about it. It's one of them. There's that. Mate, if you can, then obviously I'll, we'll discuss it in DMs. But big up yourself if you do, man. If you do manage to. What other comments are there? Big up to Wolf saying big up Tyler and his dad. Big up yourself, mate. Big up yourself. Thanks for that, Spencer. It says 3 may be tough. I find that even numbers are easier to get, and you'll probably get better seats as well. Hope that you guys get tickets. Like I say, no, I don't even mind where the seats are, as long as we hopefully get 3. I'm not fussed. So yeah, there you go with that. Rate Ten Hag. I think he's done all right for you guys overall. You know, you're still on a hunt for. You could potentially win the FA Cup. You know, I don't see why not. It is against Man City. You want to do one over them. What you going to say?
Dealt with the Ronaldo situation very well.
He did, to be fair.
And yeah, they've done all right. You know.
Yeah, Wolf's still a bit iffy about him.
I think they've improved. Yeah, but they've still got some players there that need to be got rid of. Do you know what I mean? That's the problem.
Agree. Yeah, especially
start bringing in his type of player, then should be all right. Should be at least top 4. But
yeah,
you know, just seeing what happens. You never know.
I think he's done decent. I'll go. Well, he's still got the FA Cup final, so you could win that, and that'll be a double. Do I think you'll win it? I think City might edge it, but I reckon you'll put up a very good game. But I'll say he's had a decent season. I'll go for 8. My rating for him. So yeah, there we go. Could you imagine that? That'd be very interesting. We know what Leeds fans are like as well. Yeah, someone just needs to give him that chance, man. Like,
I think they will. He needs to go to a slightly smaller club. I think, because I just don't think these big clubs, you know, will give him that respect. That's the problem. Yeah. Anyway, he needs to do it with someone else, and then gain that more respect, and then be like, oh, well, actually, yeah, let's see. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Spencer says I would probably give Ten Hag 7.5. He's gotten a few games totally wrong, but he's you guys further along than I thought. Yeah, exactly. I thought it'd take a few more years with United. So yeah, Ethan, what a G, man, what a G. So yeah, God, could you imagine? He'll know about them times getting pummeled, which is not what we want to remember. But you know, it's. For me, like I say with him, if they're willing, whoever he goes to, if they're willing to give him a chance, then he'll actually do well. You know, if they're just going to be on him from minute 1, then it's just harsh, isn't it? It's just one of them. But I think that's where we're going to wrap it up. Unless there's any final things you want to say, Dad. Been a good conversation at the end. Big up to everyone.
No, that's it. Big up everyone. If you're looking for tickets, I hope you get them. I hope we get them.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Still be there to, you know, watching the game however we can, and just look forward to it. Just hopefully everyone's fit, everyone's, you know, doing what they will be, but for me it's just important that hopefully that Woodrow's back as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Bench, you know what I mean?
And you've seen it in games, you know, again, like I said, don't get too much into it, but you've seen it in games where he has come on this season and he's made an impact. You know, even in, you know, I'd say when he had that spell, Rotherham, I feel pretty sure he started that game, but still, you know, obviously he scored in that. So he's got the confidence, you know, going on to later stages of the season. Obviously, it's, you know, gutting about his injury, of course, but yeah. Yeah, and it, you know, quickly on United, this is the thing as well. Phil Jones, I even forgot that guy was still there until he made an announcement. So it goes back to, you know, what we briefly said about him. You know, hopefully, I want to jinx things, but if we do go up, well, sure, I'll get a Man United fan on to say their thoughts on the house show, you know what I mean? So we will see, man. We will see. And just quickly, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Man City's new kit. So, yeah. The only teams I've seen is Liverpool's, but it's only their home kit. So there we go with that. But, yeah, that is where... Oh, actually, I nearly forgot Chris's comments. Oh, that was a bit lucky. Lucky I starred him. It says, big up, I'll be at work. Time you see this. Big congratulations to you lot. Said you'd turn it around. Hopefully we can take inspiration from you turning it around at Sheffield Wednesday madness. Yep. Obviously he's a Carlisle fan, as most of you will know. Obviously they're playing tomorrow. And I think they can bring it back. You know, in their game, they're only 1-0 down, so it's similar to what you said. They're bringing a lot as well, and they have done that at times this season. You know, I'd say they're similar to us in certain ways. You know, where they've got an old school ground. You know, they've got a loyal fan base. You know, like we do. So, yeah, man. And the Sheffield Wednesday game was an absolute madness. Yeah, who would have thought that? Eh? But yeah, anything you want to say on that, Dad?
Nah, that it wasn't madness. It just makes you should have purchased bet on, but it is what it is, and it shows you like the teams that finish third, they have to prove why they finished third, and they had to do it, and they did. For me, they're probably favourites to win it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, they'll find out tonight who they get. So yeah, we will see. And he says we'll be having our biggest attendance ever. He's going into work tonight feeling the nerves. Yeah, trust me, I was feeling nerves. And then when we got more to it, and I know you was the same, I was starting to feel more confident, to be honest.
Yeah.
But hopefully you feel like that. But yeah, you've got to be proud of you no matter what. Absolutely, mate. And then obviously his thoughts on Luton Coventry. He says, I don't mind who goes up between Coventry and Luton. I have respect for both clubs and refreshing to see one of these teams in Premier League as much as crying about it.
You're crying about it.
Exactly. And I know he's got family from Coventry, so that's why he also says that. This is what I mean with their support. 13 to 15 fans in what's that? League 2. Yeah, League 2 is phenomenal, mate. I know obviously it's a massive game, but still, to have that many is absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, man, hopefully you do it, man. Hopefully you do it. And then David's getting in the little minor gap, Watford FC. Yeah, no, absolutely. Got to get that in, ain't you? But, yeah, that is that. So, yeah, Stephen's just saying good luck to us on obviously getting tickets. Like I say, same to you as well, mate. Obviously, I know you're still trying to. Spence says, take care, all up the Reds and the Hatters. Yeah, big up yourself, mate. Big up yourself. So, yeah, that is episode 104 of the Hatter Show done. We'll be back probably round about this time next Friday. Definitely be on Friday to get into that massive game at Wembley. Whew, jeez. The time is now. It's one of them. But, yeah, big up yourself for coming on again, Dad. Much appreciated, of course. Current like count is on 15 likes, so big up to yourselves. I know a few people watch us back on playback as well, so big up to yourselves for that. And as for new subscribers, we did hit our mark of 1,750, so big up to yourselves. Next target, we're just going to go straight to 2K. So yeah, and hopefully, like I said on the watch along the other day, if I do manage to get to the final, hopefully that will help, increase on that. So yeah, big up yourselves. If you want to follow me across any of my socials, links to them are in the description. Subscribe to my other channel as well, T-Boys TV Extra. Turn on the notification bell for that as well. And as for content, I don't think there's going to be anything now, to be honest, until that Hatter Show. So yeah, obviously if I do manage to get tickets, I will put something out on the community post and let you lot know. But yeah, big up yourselves, stay safe, take care, and peace up the town.